Austin Parks is our guest on today's episode of Views from the Shop podcast. And as a part of our summer guest series, Austin, thank you for being here today. Curious, take me through as if you're vlogging from the moment you wake up to the moment your head hits a pillow. What is life like for an Ohio State men's basketball player here in August as now you're getting moved in, classes getting started up, all stuff like that?
All right. Well, first off, I appreciate you having me on here. But yeah, me personally, I feel like once uh, getting started in August, I mean, classes are starting and you got a whole lot more on your plate than you would in the summertime. So I feel like you're going to wake up super early. If you have to, you're going to either just go straight to class or go get a workout in, depending on your schedule throughout the day, just whenever you can fit it in. So if you don't have to work out first thing in the morning, I'm gonna get up probably for me probably around 8 a.m. Go to class, go to a study hour, and try to get a head start on like throughout the week of all my schoolwork and that. And then I'll head over to the gym, and we'll either have a lifting session or a personal skill. And just depending on the day, we might have a team skill or an individual. But we'll go through that. Then afterwards, we might have a meeting. This first couple weeks, man, like we've been pretty busy with meetings, just getting back to college and getting back to school and all that. But after that, we'll either get some recovery. They'll have food there for us. We'll replenish our bodies, and then we'll head home. After that, I'll probably come home, get a little bit of homework done. Then after that, I'll just relax, man. I'll be on the game and just on my phone, and just after that, I'm just resting for the rest of the night. So I'll be in after that.
So I'm probably going to have to unpack a little bit of this stuff here just because for my own curiosity, and I'm sure fans listening are interested too. So these individual workouts you've got, is this something that, in conjunction, whether it be with Q or Coach Diebler or whatever the case may be, you're handed the specific plan where it's you got to get this lift in today, or what does that look like?
So we'll go based off our app. It's called Teamworks, and that has like every class, workout, or meeting that we have throughout the whole week. So I depend solely on that. Like without that, I'd be pretty lost and probably be missing a lot of mandatory things I got to be to. But yeah, just like I'll look at that and it'll tell me the time. Like I got this workout for either an hour or 30 minutes, whatever it is. Go through that and then just knock them off one at a time throughout the day.
And do you have a specific coach who's working you through this stuff all the time? Is it different day to day, or what does that look like?
For my personal workouts, like I'll go with the assistant, Coach Justice. He came over just this year. Deep hired him, and then of course we'll be working out with Q for our strength and conditioning. But mostly, I think the main man who runs our app is David Egelhoff. He's the man behind the scenes. Like he's getting us where we need to be, making sure everything's in order on our schedule and making sure that we know what we got to do.
Yeah. I tell you what, I would love to have David on the show at some point. You're going to have to nudge him in that direction. He has previously declined all podcast invites from me and from others, so that's fine. We don't take it personally, but the life that he lives behind the scenes supporting you guys and helping the program out, very interesting. So I'd love to chat with him. But it's all good. It's all good. We got plenty of guests to choose from, like people like you. And take me through team meetings at this point. I'm assuming that you're probably not sitting down and saying, hey, here's how we're going to prepare for Texas in 2-3 months. But maybe it's more so team building, culture, bigger picture types of things. So what are some of the things that you guys are working through, talking through at this point?
Well, just yesterday, Deeves had us do something that I've never done before personally, but I'm not sure. I don't like me. I don't have the whole idea behind it, but I'm sure they're not going to make us do it if it isn't going to help us. It was basically like so a couple of weeks ago we took a survey, and it was like a 30-minute survey, and it was all about us, like our personal traits, like our personality, and like how we view ourselves in that. And then he had somebody come in with all like the notes of each individual player and coach on staff, and basically it told us like who we are, what like how we value ourselves, what we think our traits are, like from like our most important to our least important in that order. And it kind of like broke us down as like an individual and like how people either see us or how we view ourselves. So I guess that kind of like opened our eyes to like see who like what kind of people we are, and I guess that can help build or pull our team together. Even though we haven't really looked at like each other's, we kind of just like looked at our own so far. But I'm sure like he's gonna bring that in and like some sort of chemistry building and like bonding with the team. But I don't know. We're gonna see.
Yeah, those personality tests are always intriguing. So, anything that stuck out to you that you learned about yourself from that?
I mean, maybe not. Like I was able to see like how much I value a certain trait. Like my number one trait that popped up was integrity. Like I valued that more than I valued like fame, for example. Fame was another trait on the list, but fame for me was like more towards the bottom than it was at the top. I had self-respect on there and something about financial stability, and just I was able to see like in the survey, it didn't really ask us like, do you like this one more or this one? Like it kind of like asked us like questions that kind of like hid the truth or like however you want to say it. But like the results showed that we valued this over that, and I don't know. I kind of expected my results in a way because I've always like had that in my mind throughout my whole life about who I am and that and how my parents raised me to be. But it was kind of cool to see it on paper and like see how it actually played out when I took like an honest survey.
There's a couple things that I want to peel the layers on here as well. So, one thing you mentioned is integrity over things like fame. And that resonates for someone like me watching you from afar last year, where you got 2 minutes against Purdue. I mean, one of the biggest upsets in the nation last year. But you come in as a freshman, and that's typically, a lot of times how it goes as you're working into the rotation. So, last year, you're grinding. I mean, you're getting your teeth knocked out. I think that was you last year. Let's start there. Zed Key knocked your teeth out. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. It was
You want to
like,
share that story, or is that too sore of a subject still?
no, it's all right. But yeah, it was pretty funny because Zed was coming off an injury himself with his shoulder and all that, so he hadn't been playing at all. I mean, he'd been slowly working out, but nothing crazy. Then we come back from our summer break, and it was our first day of workouts, and it wasn't even really in a workout. It was just an open gym, just players only, just like just us, and we were just up there playing. And I ain't gonna lie, Dad got out there and he was hooping. Like he was excited, like he was like, I'm back, like be ready, like here I come and that. But then I got in, gave me a little pump fake. I bit on it, I had to recover, and by the time he was already up in the air, I jumped, he threw an elbow and hit me right in the face. And after that I don't even know what happened after that. I was out of it.
So were you diagnosed with a concussion or anything like that, or you got your bell rung in general?
Yeah, it just rung my bell because it hit lower, not around
Hmm.
the head area, but like kind of in the jaw. I got up and I thought I broke my nose again because I broke that in the past, and I grabbed my face and it was all bloody. I'm like, damn, dude, like I just broke my nose again. I'm like sitting there, my mouth's hurting really bad, and like I'm using my tongue to like feel the area in that, and I swear my tongue just went straight through my teeth, and like there was nothing to stop it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like oh wow, like my teeth are gone, but they were still intact. They were just like pushed back and up, so like it just left it like a big open hole. But I got rushed to the dentist after that. They were able to put it back in place and gave me like temporary braces, and I had to go through a whole process for like the next month and a half of just letting that tooth heal. Then after that, I started changing colors, so I had to go get a root canal and put coloring in it, and it's still a little different right now, but I don't know. They did a great job. So I thought I was going to lose the tooth, but they saved it. So I'm very thankful for that.
So me personally, I think I'd rather fracture my femur than have any kind of tooth injury. Like that just sounds absolutely awful. So pain scale, you've broken your nose before. I'm sure you had other injuries. How did that rank with other injuries you've run into?
This was probably like second or third worst. I tore or I like had a partial tear in my groin my senior year, and that was by far the worst pain I've ever been through. And like that was awful. But this, I don't know. It's just everything I did. I couldn't talk because my tongue would hit my teeth, and it just I don't know. It's like the worst cavity you could possibly imagine. And like with my gums and my lips, I kept hitting my lips on my teeth, and that every time anything would touch it, it would just like super sensitive and just like make you cringe. Like it was bad.
That sounds absolutely miserable. So did Zed do anything to make it up to you, or he just keep beating you up in practice on the daily?
He said sorry. That was about it. So he said he was sorry. He felt bad, but after that, like I wasn't mad. Like it was an accident. But after that, we just moved on, kept working, and season went on. So
Yeah, so that's kind of where I wanted to go was, I mean, you're a player, and there's players like this on every roster who maybe aren't in the spotlight, but you're working just as hard as a Bruce Thornton who's getting the Big Ten accolades and stuff like that. So what was freshman season like for you in regards to putting in the work? You're in the spotlight for your whole life playing basketball. So what was that experience like freshman year?
yeah, like you just hit it there. Like it was tough, man. Like I mean, I'm working. Like it's hard. Like it's gonna be hard for everybody. But like results aren't gonna show for everybody. Like me last year. Like all the hard work didn't really pay off in that like moment of that season. So like last year, I wasn't able to like go out and like play as much as I would have liked, of course. But like my whole life, like I've always been the best player, and I've always been the one that people depend on to like go out and perform and play really well and help the team win. Last year I felt helpless. Like I mean, I was helping guys in practice get better, but like on the game when it was time to like when it actually mattered, I wasn't able to do nothing in that. Like that took a toll on me mentally in that. But I've had a lot of help, my family and coaches and teammates and all that. They always kept my spirits high, and they gave me hope that this is something to work for. Like let that be like motivation and like a goal that I want to go reach. So in the future, like I know like that I don't want to ever like repeat that or go through that again. So it just makes me want to work harder and like give myself a better opportunity.
I think it's really important to paint this picture. I think especially last year, obviously players and coaches are not immune to the noise. And it was a tough year last year. And I'm on Twitter. I can see what everyone's seeing in the negativity surrounding the program. So you're dealing with, personally wanting to be on the floor, wanting to be able to contribute. And then you're also dealing with the noise outside of things. And then there's, random name, 11 numbers behind it on Twitter with an egg as his logo or his picture on his profile, saying that this guy is trash or this coach is trash or whatever. How does a person like you deal with that? Have you learned any ways to help and aid in the mental health portion of things now that you're 1 year in at Ohio State?
I've always done my best just to ignore stuff like that. Like of course I'm gonna see it, and there's really no like avoiding it or getting around it. But like I try not to let stuff like that bother me. And of course here at Ohio State, like I'm sure most universities have, but like we got people here to help us like regarding to that situation about like mental health and like outside noise that they can really put a stop to and really help us like kind of like almost in a way ignore that and get over that part of like basketball and that. But I don't know. I feel like I've never had a whole lot of problems like dealing with that kind of stuff, but I know some people do, and it can let them like hurt them emotionally or and mentally. But there's always somebody here to help, and you just gotta depend on them.
Yeah, that's awesome. It can be, doesn't matter who it is on the roster. People hear the noise and it affects everyone differently. And kind of to piggyback off of that, you look at last season, you look at the, chance for Holtmann to get fired and stuff like that. Did the team address anything internally in regards to, the external noise specifically around one man, not on the roster, not a player, but the leader of your program?
I mean, yeah, it was hard. Like we talked, like uh, yeah, like there's a lot of outside noise, and a lot of people aren't liking like the situation we were in or the people that were controlling the situation. But yeah, we talked as a team, like not even like coaches around, but like we just said, no matter what, like for as long as we can. We got to stick it out. We got to like have each other's backs, and that's including staff, fans, whoever it may be. Like not just like each other as a team, but like we got to like support and always be everybody a part of our family in that. And I figured like that's a big part of like who Ohio State is. Like we're a big family here, and we just got to have each other's backs and support no matter what we're going through. Like adversity, hard times. Like you're not gonna, you just can't play basketball without adversity and hard times. Like stuff's gonna go wrong and bad, but you just got to keep playing, keep pushing forward, and find a way out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's something, even you look at the NIT comments from Roddy Gale talking about how much the team, his teammates, players meant to him. And he's not even on the roster anymore. I mean, it's got to be really real for a guy like you, for a guy like Bruce, players who are returning to this roster, and there's not a lot of them. And take me through as well. Do you feel like the team, or do you feel like you personally, was there any inklings of we're starting to lose faith in the plan here and we need change? Or were you still on the side of we're going to figure this out with Coach Holtmann? Kind of where did you fall on that spectrum?
I mean, I don't want to pick one side, but like I want to say both, really. Like, of course, he was our leader and he was our head coach, and we put all our trust and faith into him, and that wasn't going to change no matter what the outcomes were. It was hard. Like we knew something needed to change, and we tried multiple things that, I mean, eventually didn't end up working or didn't work in time, unfortunately. But like we put a lot of trust into him, and we weren't going to. That wasn't going to change. Like he was our leader, and we were going to just go along and keep working for him, and hopefully, like we were able to do as much as we could for him. And unfortunately, things just didn't work out.
Yeah, and I don't want to harp on Coach Holtmann. Obviously, we wish him the best, and I've said this before on this show, and I think anyone who's interacted with him, no one has anything but good things to say about him, and sometimes it's just not a fit, and you move on. So at this point now, thinking about you moving on, first of all, this is something I didn't ask Colin. I am curious about. How did you find out the news that Ohio State was moving on from Coach Holtmann, and what was that initial reaction?
Saw that on Instagram. Like I woke up getting ready for a tutoring session. I opened my phone like most people would first thing in the morning, and see that. And I don't know. We had multiple meetings about that information getting leaked to the public before the team even found out. Like I had people back home calling me and be like, "Hey, like it's done. Like he's fired and all that." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like we haven't talked about any of this yet." And I think it was right after Wisconsin. Like we got off the plane and we scheduled a time for practice the next day, and we just said, "All right, we'll see you then," and all that. I wake up going to class, and I was like this ain't real. Like this is crazy. And then we get a text from one of our other coaches saying we got to meet at this place, and we're gonna have a meeting in that. And that's when they like really like explained everything and told us what was gonna happen. And our athletic director came in and he apologized for the way we found out, and that was that. So it was just like a complete shock finding out the way we did.
So let's go on the flip side now. You're under interim head coach Jake Diebler. What's that first conversation like? What kind of feelings do you have? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling scared? What's going through your mind?
I mean, before I even realized like he got the job, gonna take over as coach, like still like back to like right when we figured out Holt was gonna like not be our coach anymore. I was talking to my roommates like that morning, and we all agreed like, yeah, like we're probably done. Like we're ready to get out of here. Like we got to like move on, like just like OSU has. But when Dee had that meeting with us, he explained how everything was going to work. Like he still had all the faith in the world. He was ready to go out there and just start winning games. And like he said, we're going to play like we're playing for a natty every single game, and just give it all we got. Like I know we're going through like again adversity and hard times. Like we're going through it, but we just got to keep moving on, keep pushing, keep playing. And he believed with all his heart that we weren't done, and that's when we started playing our best basketball of the whole season. Right after that, he said, "I got all the faith in the world. Just give me your trust and faith, and I'm going to make sure we finish our season strong in the right way." And we did. We played great basketball from there on out.
And I think an interesting thing you said is you're talking, with teammates and saying if this is it for Holtmann, this is it for us. And it's such an important sentiment that players truly do commit to coaches. They don't commit to logos, they don't commit to colors, they don't commit to teams. But you are an Ohio kid, so that makes it a little bit more interesting, I think, in your regard, maybe than from a guy like Bruce, for example, or something like that, where you don't really have those connections to Ohio. So for you, you're in the block O, and that means a lot. I'm sure all your friends, all your family are like, this is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a big time dilemma for you in minutes, hours, days, considering what am I going to do next season?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. Like, I mean, I committed here. I love the staff, and after that incident, like, I knew like probably everybody was going to be gone, and like I didn't know who was going to come in. I didn't know if somebody was going to come in and they didn't want me on the team or they didn't want nothing to do with me. So I was worried for that. I was talking to my family a lot. Like, what am I going to do? Like I love it here, of course, but like they may not love me. So like that's the thing. Like I had to figure that out. I went through a lot of stress, anxiety, just sitting around waiting to see who got the job. And once Steve got the job, man, it clicked. Like that was kind of like a relief because I knew like he's somebody I'd love to play for. And I knew him recruiting me, like he was willing to keep me there and like work with me, and he had faith in me. So that was just a big reliever. But yeah, I don't know. That was a tough time.
I feel like I'm focusing this entire conversation on your stress and anxiety, so we can move away from that and talk about good things.
Yeah.
So Coach Diebler takes over in the locker room, game plan wise, practice wise. What did you see that was different, that changed, that helped light a fire under this team to close the year?
The energy and urgency, man. Like he's like get to it, snap, snap. Like we're moving. Like practices definitely did change. And I mean, that first practice with Deeves kind of made it feel like it was the first practice of the year. Like everybody out of shape, everybody just like need to get better conditioning. But like we've been conditioned for however many months to that point. But like he had us moving, doing drills, working like full speed the entire time. Like he's short in practice because we usually go for a little bit longer, but we do a lot of standing and talking and just it's just two different ways of coaching and that. But like with him, like we went quick, we got everything. We were in and out. Like we went in there, did our work hard as we could, quick, fast, and we were out. And we were able to go out there and just have a different mindset, saying like we know we're good. Like we're not just here to be here. Like we can beat these teams and win games. And the way he had us practicing was the way we really needed to play in the game. And he had us in the game, and we were just ready to go. And we were moving a lot more faster than other teams up until that point.
So the narrative, I feel like in all of sports, doesn't matter if it's college basketball or anywhere else, when there's a coaching change, you should be betting on the team where there was the coaching change. Ohio State is going to take on Purdue. It's at home. You have the coaching turnover, but it is potentially the best team in the nation, other than UConn. Obviously, we found out at the end of the year. So you said the energy changed as you're stepping onto the floor, getting warmed up. Did it feel like, man, we're going to go beat Purdue? Like, is that something that was an expectation for the team at that time?
Yeah, yeah. I felt like if not everybody, at least most of the guys knew like, yeah, this is how it's going to go, and this is what we're about to do. Because the entire time, I mean, it was only a few days. I think it was only like 4 days from when he got the job to when we played. He was telling us every day, "You can do it. We can do it. We're gonna win. Like, just have faith. We will beat them." Like we. I mean, looking at it, we're all like this guy's crazy. Like, there ain't no way we're going out there after what just happened, the way we've been playing, and there's no way we're gonna even compete with these guys. And after those practices, man, like I don't know, and all the talk he had with us, just saying like giving us all the confidence in the world. We went out there and we just hooped, and we were playing great as a unit. Everybody did their role. Guys stepped up and just it turned out in our favor, and it was just an amazing feeling.
So speaking of hooping, I'm hearing this summer that you've been working on your shot, you've been working on your range a little bit as well. Take me through what's the summer been like for you personally? How have you been trying to develop your game?
Yeah, I mean, not just me, but everybody. Like Diebler wants everybody out there to score from anywhere. Like he wants to kind of like be like a spread team almost. Like, hey, if I'm out there and I'm open, I gotta let it rip and like hit the shot. Like no excuse. Like I'm open, I can hit that shot. Like he wants me to know like I don't have to just be in the paint. I don't just have to like work around the rim. Like step out a little bit. Like have confidence, shoot it, let it fly. But yeah, in the gym, like he's had us making like I think it was 1,500 shots a week. Everybody had to make 1,500 or yeah, make 1,500 threes a week. Excuse me. And some guys were exceeding that by a lot, and just we were in there all throughout the week, and work just that alone, working on the threes is just gave me so much more like ability to go out there and score from different positions. So like I don't have to be just one sided. I can be kind of like a multi-threat type of player, which is an awesome feeling also, just because I know if like there's somebody I can't really go against in the paint, I'll step out a little bit, do what I can do out there. But yeah, he's really been expanding everybody's game and just giving everybody a whole lot of confidence.
Yeah, that can be huge. I mean, I've said on this show before, whenever I've talked about Austin Parks, it's been he came into Big Ten play as a freshman. We know what Big Ten basketball is. It's banging down low, it's bruising, it's bloodying guys up,
Yeah.
and it's just an ugly brand of basketball. Frankly, if I did not have any investment in a team in the Big Ten, I wouldn't watch it over probably any major conference. It's not pretty basketball. So you've got a team like Ohio State maybe working on threes. That's intriguing to see, and you can see in the roster construction as well, bringing in guys like Aaron Bradshaw, even Ivan Nigovan, players like that who can step back and hit threes. So you've got to make 1,500 threes in a given week. How
Yeah,
much time does that take?
some guys, I mean, they can knock it out fairly quick, but like me, at the
Some
start,
guys like you're getting that done pretty quick, of course.
yeah, I mean, you could say that, but like, no, but straight up, but yeah, like when I first started, like when I heard that, I was like, damn, like that's not what I do. Like I'm gonna go in there and work in the post, work on my touch and that. And he had me doing it. I won't lie, like I didn't hit the goal the first week or two, and then once like I was healthy throughout the whole few weeks of the last part of the summer. I mean, I'm in there, and everybody's in there. Really, it's just like you can just see the progress and improvement, and it was like kind of eye opening. Like, wow, like well, this is really working. Like, we're getting better, and I feel like it's going to be just a tough team to guard. Like, if you got like those 2 7-footers out there working in the paint, then all of a sudden they're out there shooting from 4 or 5 feet behind the line. It's kind of tough to like, what do you do? Like it's hard to guard. Like you just want that like ability to go out and do whatever you want from any part of the court. And I don't know, he's got a great plan and it's really taking place, and I'm happy with it. Like I'm excited to see what's going to happen this season, just with all the different skills and all that. So we'll see what happens.
And throughout this summer, is there a player or two that, especially the fact that you've now been in Ohio State for an entire season, you've seen some of these guys get after it. Some of these guys are new, but any players sticking out that you're like, man, I didn't know that he was going to make this jump or that he was this good. Any players like that?
Yeah, I got to give credit to my boy Aaron Bradshaw, man. Like he's just a freak, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, like he's straight up. I mean, 7-footer, can shoot, can move, can jump. I mean, yeah, it's just an incredible athlete, and he's got an insane skill level. And I've learned a lot from him, and not just like on the court, but like off the court. He's got great energy. He's always bringing people up and like making sure like our heads in the right place. Always like checking in, making sure everybody's okay. And like when we're tired in the weight room and like really dragging around, like he's out there screaming, yelling, like "Let's go!" Like come on, like. But no, yeah, I love playing alongside him. Like I've learned a lot from him. I feel like, and I feel like he's leading us really well, or at least me being in the forward category. Because I mean, it's every day. Me and him working against each other. Just I have to guard him. He has to guard me. So I had to learn how to score around him, learn how to guard that type of a player. But I don't know. It's difficult. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, definitely him. I'd say for sure.
So Aaron's looking good. You're obviously putting in work as well as everyone is. Take me through what's your personal philosophy on your help from your athletic training staff? Like, when do you know that this is just a bump or a bruise and I'm fine to I need to get checked out for this? And how do you take advantage of the fact that you do have basically world-class facilities there in Columbus?
Yeah, make no mistake, like I'm gonna take advantage of all of that. Like if it's there, I'm gonna use it. Like just today, just got a little bit of treatment, had a recovery day, used up every bit of it as I could for however long I could. But yeah, I feel like all the coaches try to implant it in my brain, like from where I'm from, like it's all like just tough basketball down there. Like it's rough. Like because I feel Dave was fairly close to me. Like he was from the same area, and that he said, "I know where you're from. Like I know how you're gonna deal with all of this. Like you're a tough kid. Like you can push through a lot of stuff, and you're gonna deal with a lot of stuff. But like you're tough. You're a tough player. You want to get out there, be physical. But yeah, I don't know. I try to push through everything I can. But if it's hurting, like there ain't no shame. Like go out there, get better. Don't rush it, but take advantage of like the trainers and everybody, like to the nutritionist. Like they're gonna help you get better, and they've certainly done a lot for me, and I'm very grateful for that.
What's been your favorite amenity at Ohio State that you've gotten to take advantage of, whether it be athletic training, nutrition, in the locker room, anything like that?
Really everything, like facility wise, like got 24/7 access to the gym, so I can go in there any time of the day. Anybody on the team can just go in there, work on their game, just no matter for what reason, like because you got to be there, or you just want to go there and just relieve some stress, or just go out there and hoop a little bit. And also, like this summer, I tried my best to take advantage of the nutrition part of the game, and I worked with my nutritionist Carly. She was always texting me, always asking me for updates on my meals and that. She was always there, making sure I was doing my best and for what I could, just because I want to take my nutrition seriously and get in better shape. And of course, our athletic trainers, like, they're always there. They always got their numbers ready for me to text them, and just whatever I need, they're there to help. So it's a blessing.
So, in your work with the nutrition team, what was the goal and what kind of meals were you put on?
Uh, I mean, I didn't want to gain weight, of course. I wanted to slim down a little bit and get or lose a few pounds. But her main objective for me was just have like a more balanced plate, like have whatever it may be. Like I don't know the numbers right now, but like 50% protein, um, 30% carbs or whatever, and have plenty of greens on my plate and make sure I have vegetables, fruits, all that type of stuff. And like the times a day I'm eating, she wanted me to be consistent with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like don't eat super late at night, like around this time, and just because I want to, just like set a time and schedule for my dinner, stick to it, eat a good balanced meal, and then just keep going on and get better at those habits.
What was the hardest part about the nutrition plan or the biggest adjustment you had to go through?
Uh, Not eating the stuff I usually would be eating. Like, I mean, it's easy to go over to fast food, just get whatever you want any time of day, late at night, whenever you're hungry, man. Just because there's a lot of stuff around here in Columbus where we live, and just driving past it every day, like, oh man, that looks good. But I tried my best. Like, I slipped up a few times, but tried my best to stick to it and just get better at that part of the game.
So Colin mentioned a couple weeks back there's a breakfast spot there. He loves the French toast wherever this is. I'm assuming that's probably not a part of your plan, but if you do have a cheat meal that you can take down, where are you going?
Oh shoot, man, I can't even tell you that. I don't have one specific place, but like definitely like whatever's feeling good that day. Like man, I've been craving this. Like this is what I'm gonna eat. But I don't know, probably something I really shouldn't be eating. But I don't know. There's a lot of things I choose. Like I don't have one cheat meal. I got a few, but I don't know.
Not picky, at least.
No, no,
That makes it easy for you, hopefully.
yeah.
Okay, let's move to this upcoming season. So a lot of big games are on the calendar. The schedule's locked in. Are there any games that you've looked at? I talked to Coach Battle last week. I gave him this question. Of course, as a member of the coaching staff, you got to say, we're going to take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and we're just going to focus on who's in front of us. But I feel like as a player, you get a little more leeway, and there's a couple games that you circle. So is there any games that you're looking at, you're like, man, this will be a fun team to play, this will be a fun environment to play in, and things like that?
For sure, Texas A&M. I think we're there at Texas A&M. I got a whole bunch of family down in Texas, and I think they're all going to try to make the trip down there. So it's going to be cool to see them and let them see me play. And it's just something that they never got to do for me growing up, because I lived up here in Ohio my whole life, or at least most of my life. And most of those guys have never seen me play a game of basketball. And it's kind of crazy to say how close we are, like relationship-wise, and they've just never seen me play except for on TV. So if they can make that game, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a bit of a revenge game as well. I mean, that was a tight game, I think, for 35, 36 minutes where you guys you had a lead, I think maybe even led at halftime, but, the game kind of slips away, and sometimes that's how it goes. And it's a talented team, Texas A&M is. So, yeah, that'll be a good one to look forward to. And then as far as the upcoming season, the temperament that you have or that the team has, what are you guys trying to adopt as you head into this first full year under head coach Jake Diebler?
Just like our values. Like, we have values posted up in our locker room, all around the gym, and all throughout the summer. Like, he was quizzing all of us, like pop quizzes, like what are the values, like how are we going to play. And we have 5 Buckeye values. It's joy, truth, accountability, growth, and respect. So he wants us to live by those. I mean, not just like in our Ohio State career, but our whole life. Like, he wants us to grow up and like be able to like be that kind of person, like with all those values, and like apply those to our daily lives. So we play with those, and then we got 4 more for like on the court stuff. Is like play with urgency, be your best late. Let's see, I'm kind of going, I'm kind of freezing up here. See if I can remember what these are. Player urgency, be your best late, team over self, and that's it. Player urgency. Look at me, I still don't know them all the way. Man.
Well, you're good. Like, take me through which of those sticks out the most to you and resonates the most. Would you say?
Definitely, I feel like in the 5 Buckeye values, I feel like growth. Like, I feel like everybody can grow and be better, and from where they are today. Like, not even just like in your sport, but like as a person, like your job or your emotions, whatever you want to like say that you want to be better at. Like, everything has room to grow, and I feel like as long as we keep working towards whatever that goal is for that specific topic, I feel like you're going to better yourself as a person each and every day. And I feel like, to me, like definitely growth would be one of the most important ones.
And relationally, now that you're in year 2 at Ohio State, you've got a brand new coaching staff, you've got a lot of new teammates. Have there been anyone, either coaching staff, teammates, support staff, that you've really appreciated, new relationships or developing stronger relationships with those around the program?
Yeah, I'd say definitely my position coach, the new assistant, Coach Joel Justice. He's definitely been like talking with me a lot, and like talking and explaining like, who do you want to be this year, like what type of player you want to be. And I was straight up like, I want to be like, I want to like be somebody that can play my role, go in there, help the team, whatever y'all need me to, and just be reliable and somebody you can count on. And he was always like, so you just want to play more this year? And I admitted, like, yeah, I want to play more. And he's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you should be wanting to play and like make difference. Like, you don't want to just go out there and play. Like, you want to go out there and make a difference for the team, and like really like be productive. You don't just go out there and play, but go be productive and go be better than everybody else.
So what does productive look like to you? Have you kind of hashed out what that looks like specifically?
I mean, bits and pieces here, but like definitely like being more confident and going out there, guarding, calling out the right calls on defense, and just being in the right position at the right time, and being able to communicate with my teammates on like what we're doing in that. But I feel like definitely like maybe communication is a big key to that, and just being reliable for my coaches and teammates to count on me to do my job.
So two last things that I want to touch on here, and then if there's anything you want to bring up, you can. One would be the residential life for you at Ohio State. What do relationships look like? Who's the cleanest? Who's the messiest? Things like that. How do you deal with being a college basketball player, living amongst others, all those types of things?
Yeah, I mean, in the gym wise, like Dave's always like mentioning, like trying to put in our brains, like we got to be organized, we got to keep our area, our workspace clean, and like we got to do our best to like pick up after ourselves and leave it better than what we found it. And that, but at home, like I'm really by myself, so I live the way I want to, which I live pretty clean. Like it was different living last year in the dorm with all the other freshmen. Like we don't all live the same way, so like it was kind of like tough to like adapt to that. But like for the most part, it's a little messy right now, but I keep my area clean and that, so I like living that way.
Okay. I won't ask you to prove it. I'll just take your word for it. Last question here. One thing that isn't touched on a lot too when it comes to college athletics is what you're doing in the classroom. So what are you studying, the major area of focus, stuff like that, and what do you want to do obviously when the playing days are over at some point, hopefully 10, 15, 20 years down the road?
Yeah, I'm studying sport industry right now, so I haven't looked into it too much, but like I'm kind of familiar. Like it's kind of like a business just involving athletics. So like I can go into like a sport finance and different stuff like that. I can go into coaching, like different type of like athletic jobs and that. Just I mean, it was really interesting to me just because of my whole life I've just been an athlete and I love watching on TV. I love participating. I love being around that type of environment. And hopefully one day, I'm not exactly sure what it is yet, but hopefully I find something I love and I can just go to work every day and just love what I do and just enjoy life.
Being a college athlete and going to the Ohio State University will not hurt wherever you want to go in that regard. You mentioned you love sports, so other teams, other sports you follow, what do you like to root for and stuff like that?
Well, my Dallas Mavericks just lost in the NBA Finals, but we're gonna redeem ourselves this year. We're gonna make it all the way. We're gonna win it all. Like, mark my words.
Okay. I'll clip this, and when it happens, it will go